Well, I'm back in my hotel room now. We've been at the eXtreme365 conference here in Amsterdam for the last 3 days. I've been here with Mark Cotton and Tom Cadman from the solutions team. We've been here to learn about the latest from Microsoft Dynamics and also the wider Microsoft platform. Earlier on, I sat down with Mark and Tom to get their views on the key takeaways from the last 3 days and what it means to our customers.
Power Platform, it's a good question. First, we started to think that the Power Platform was just Emperor's New Clothes, the same thing as before. But actually it's much more than that, and with the underlying development of the CDS, the Common Data Services, it's allowing us to have one common data database, data model, and on it we're able to build apps either with Canvas apps, as we refer to them, so that's what we used to call Power Apps. So the ability to create pixel perfect user interfaces communicating with back-end databases, the CDS, but also this thing that we used to call CRM and got renamed into Dynamics, and now it's renamed into Dynamics CE, Customer Experience. Those are model-driven apps, so that's what we know from old, from CRM. That's all part of the Power Platform as well now. So we've got Canvas apps, which was what we used to have. We used to call Power Apps, and we've got the model-driven apps, which we used to call CRM. All of that is built upon the top of CDS, the Common Data Services. And what that then now gives us, because we've got this common data thread supporting all of this, we are then able to build Power BI over the top of that. So we've got Power Apps, Power BI, Canvas apps. And so it's all coming together into one big deliverable. What the Power Platform will enable the customer to do is to get to that final stage of implementation. So there's always some elements of the solution that we wish we could do, and with building the solution on the Power Platform and enabling the customers and their own citizen developers to build their own little apps to do those final little bits of functionality, it'll enrich the whole experience and enrich the solution. Yeah, so artificial intelligence. What makes artificial intelligence work? Well, it's my feeling that we're only going to get good AI if the data is good, and it's the same adage as we used to say. That's the most polite way of saying this: crap in, crap out. So if our data is good and our data is rich and we've got lots of it, okay, so again think the Common Data Services, Common Data Model. If all of our data is in a place, or we can connect to it through the various connectors that we've got available to us in things like Flow to get data into one place, feed that data into the digital feedback loop, and what we then start getting out of it is rich AI. And once we've got rich AI, we can start making good business decisions. It can start finding facts within data that we didn't even know were there. Yeah, okay, so Hololens is a fantastic piece of technology. We've got Hololens 2, just been released within the last couple of days. We saw a prototype of that. The real actual working ones are still over in the States, so they haven't made their way over yet. But HoloLens, it's fantastic technology, but it was difficult to use. Both myself and you had to play with it, and it's a little bit disappointing because we really wanted it to be better. So what was difficult about it? Well, what was difficult about it was just the typing in a password, for example. It was difficult to type in a password. Once we got past that bit and got to some of the cute features inside it, it was great. And for example, we were given a live demo of how a field service engineer a less trained field service engineer can wear HoloLens and get support remotely from a back office expert to help them fix a problem in an electrical cabinet. That's a great example of how the technology could work. But I'm still a little bit sceptical about whether we're going to give those lesser trained field service engineers £3,000 worth of HoloLens kit to put on their head, and will they want to wear it, and is it ruggedized, and all those things. So practically, honestly, and I probably shouldn't say it because I know we're Microsoft through and through, but practically I don't think we're there yet. It needs to be smaller, it needs to be cheaper, it needs to be a lot more wearable. So what I think really will work that we can do today is took some of the concepts of HoloLens, but actually pulls it down onto a phone. So imagine that same field service engineer, instead of wearing £3,000 worth of hardware on their head, they use their phone, which they've got today, but they initiate that same help me call to the experienced field service engineer back at head office over their phone, and through the screen of their phone, their camera lens looking at the electrical cabinet, the guy back in the back office can draw pictures and point arrows at what it is they need to fix, and throw up schematics of the electrical circuits, and they're having the voice conversation, but the augmented reality of the drawing back in the back office and that pointing at the electrical cabinet. I think that is really helpful. I think that that's got legs because it's achievable. It's achievable today. Everybody's got one of these in their pockets. They don't have to have these headsets. So I think we can find real uses for that. We're seeing more integration with everything. I mean, it's clear from the conference over the last few days that Teams is more and more important to Microsoft. I went to a conference towards the end of last year, and it was the same was being said then too. And so, what kind of integrations? How can Teams help? Well, it's no secret that Teams is going to replace Skype for Business. So all the things that we use Skype for today, so internal communications, internal meetings, video meetings, all that will move across into Teams. Great. But also what Teams enables us to do, it enables us to have a conversation and to collaborate on things. So for example, we might use Teams to collaborate on a document that we're working on together. It's great for that. Plug into Teams things like Planner, which enables us to plan projects and sort of like do task lists and share task lists around Teams and plan for when they're going to happen. Plug in various little bits of functionality like polls and questionnaires and Microsoft Forms to do a questionnaire against things, and it will become the place to go to communicate, perhaps more so even than Outlook is today. I mean, Outlook is the king of apps. Everybody goes into Outlook the first thing they do. I foresee a day in the not too distant future where the first place everyone goes in the morning is Teams. And I think that's the way that we're going to start to communicate. It feels a lot more instant, a lot more personal. For me, I think the highlights from this particular conference is around the whole common data model, common data services. What that's finally going to give us is something that we've been looking for years and years and years. So an example of how the common data model might help us in CDS, common data services, is around, let's just think of the retail sector, the retail industry. There's commonality there, again, in the data that all retailers will collect. They all know their customers, all retailers have a customer, all retailers sell products. So there's commonality there around some of the data entities that those guys will use. And think of products and think of product variants and product quantities and then discount values and all those kinds of things. If we can start building out that common data set, then if we're then starting to sell or we're starting to engage with the retail customer, we already have a data model that pretty much fits their business, okay? And then it's small steps then for us to customize it for their particular needs. So we already know the data model that fits their business, and more Microsoft are going to create these templates for us, industry-specific templates, And so you can imagine that when all of these templates are all created across all industries, and then there's one common understanding of what a customer means across all these different industries and the way that we describe a customer, then that fed into the digital feedback loop, one way of describing a customer. All of that data from all of these different places coming into one big lump is going to enable all of the other stuff, all of the AI. It opens it all up.